It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. Fucking hours. It costs that much cause I don't have superpowers. Superpowers. So you need to pay for my skills cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. You need to pay for my skills cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours.
Shut up, bitch!
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
School and all James was can say is ooh, a piece of candy, 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 ooh, a piece of candy. When he became Peter's best friend, they sat around the house and said ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. And you know that James Woods practices lingerie well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When they know that he's next to the best of them all, when he says, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. Reese's Pieces on the floor and watch him come a saying, ooh, a piece of candy. Was practice lingerie well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Oh! Ooh, a piece of candy. 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 When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, a piece of candy. 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 Ooh, a piece of candy.
Fucking thing sucks.
Welcome to Monday. Great old song there that I just butchered. Warren, we've got Tommy Nation Politics on the show tonight. And just be forewarned through this. We'll see. I may have to kill a few streams here. Right now we're on supposedly on Rockfin and Odyssey and some and YouTube and other places. So we'll see how it goes. Can't promise nothing. Just like Dad always said, you know, I'm going out for smokes, and then he never came back, and turns out he wasn't a smoker. He did do that anyway, but that's neither here nor there. We got Screw Google in the house. Mika's here, Miguel's here, Gamer, got Yona, and who else is in the mix? Miguel. Who else? I think that's everybody for right now. I'm sure people will start filing in as we go along. So also got some new graphics goodies here. If you can see, if you can squint on your phones, if you're watching this on your phones, there's actually new chat here. It lets us know where people are chatting from, if they're chatting from Twitch or wherever. Although we're not on Twitch right now for some reason, it wouldn't let me go live on Twitch. So, what are you gonna do? As hopefully that's the worst that happens. But here comes the best. We got our buddy Tommy Nation Politics on here. What's going on, brother? Good to see you.
Tommy Nation Politics. Yeah, good to see you, Uncle Warren. Good to be on your show. I've been watching you from afar. You're very funny.
That's what my stalker says. Because I see him with his binoculars in the window.
Your dad didn't really go out for cigarettes, right?
No, he didn't go out for cigarettes.
Your dad like that, right? Hopefully.
No, he did. Yeah, he did. He never came back. It's still a little tender, Tommy. So you know, let's go feed in other pastures, as we say down south. I just made that up. Nobody says that. I you know what, it's funny, like, you know, you contacted me yesterday, you said, hey, I want to be on the show, and I was like, you know, I was thinking, like, man, before, like, a few days ago, I was like, man, we'll get Tommy on the show. And, you know, just like peanut butter and chocolate, you know, we came together and we made a Reese's peanut butter cup. So, you know, chocolatey peanut butter, delicious.
Well, I know we're very like-minded with this whole. We're very like-minded with this whole establishment is literally extracting the wealth and resources from the middle class, and the crony capitalism, late-stage capitalist affair that was going on during the State of the Union. It's heralded a time where we need to get together and we need to talk about the issues that are facing the American people, because they won't. They'll talk about fake issues like protecting the border or jobs in here that are going to be shitty and stagnant wages. But we've got. I think that you know, and I know that we got to figure this out ourselves, because they're not going to help us. They've shown that repeatedly. Democrats, Republicans. That's what I think.
Gamer, this is he's the host of Tommy Nation Politics. I got all his links down below in the description there, where you can find him on the interwebs. So be sure to check out, like, share, and subscribe to his show, because it's good stuff. So let's get, you know, this is like a time-honored tradition here on EBL. I call it EBL like it's, you know, like it's some sort of network. It's not. It's just a hole-in-the-wall little podcast that we do on Monday nights. But it's mine, and I love it like a baby. So what I like to do is get people's how you got to this point in your political interests, you know, why you podcast, all that good stuff.
When you said the Marvel origin story, I really had to think about it a little bit, because I'm a huge fan of course, the god of thunder, Thor, and his origin story was, of course, amazing. And then Spider-Man, you know, when he's just bit by radioactive spider, his life changes and he can help the people in his community. And similar to it, because, you know, I graduated from the University of Texas, San Antonio. I'm a Texan, guys. Viva los Spurs, by the way. Go Spurs, go. I've lived in Texas most of my life, although as a musician, I was a Bachelor of Arts in music. I've traveled all over the world and things like that. But I love Texas. I really love the fact that we have our freedoms. We got our freedoms and our liberties. And I really didn't think much about politics. Actually, I thought about music. I wanted to be a singer my whole life. My first album that I ever listened to was Michael Jackson's album Bad. And as soon as I heard the first two songs on that album, I thought I wanted to be just like this. I want to make music just like this. And so I went to school for it. And it took me a long time because I'm a working class person and my parents weren't funding me. I didn't have a trust fund or anything like that. So I had to pay for school myself. And so I was going to school incrementally. And along the way, just before I was about to graduate in 2020, the COVID pandemic hit, and actually, I realized not only is music not very lucrative when everyone's staying at home, but I also realized, Warren, that while everyone was staying was at home, and we didn't have any idea of what to do, and our leaders, people that we pray for at church, they were talk. They were supposed to take care of us, right? They did nothing. They were at Martha's Vineyard for the first week. And 48 hours afterwards, they bailed out the stock market with government money and still called it market. Then they proceeded to take that market that could have crashed, even though they bailed it out. And by the way, that's socialism. They proceeded to bail out businesses with PPP loans that were in bed with their, political affinities. And meanwhile, they gave at the time, I'm a gay black man in Texas, so I believe in equality under the law, and I believe that government works for all of you. But that really enraged me, the fact that our leaders transparently neglected their oaths to defend us from threats, foreign and domestic. They turned their backs on us, went to Martha's Vineyard, and then afterwards they bailed out corporations first, and thought about in their bills, the CARES Act, upward transfer of wealth, not since the Gilded Age, they managed to give us $1,200, and that was a struggle too. And I realized, Warren, that they didn't care about us at all, and that's when I became political, and I had to do something. The words of Martin Luther King were echoing through my head: the fierce urgency of now, the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. And I looked around, I didn't see any leaders. And I didn't see anybody like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, because I realized that people afraid of the fact that these people have so much power, and they can surveil you, they can imprison you, they can tell you to go home at a certain time, they can tell you to stay at home and not work anymore. They have unlimited amounts of power, and it has to be curtailed. We have to go back to our founding values of life, liberty, and happiness. And somebody's got to be saying these things, and no one was. So I did. I created Top Nation Politics in the pandemic.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, out of times of tragedy and stuff like that, in wartime too, people do tend to rise up, to try and at least be some sort of voice in a world where leadership has definitely failed us on so many levels. And I look at that even long before Trump came along, right? I mean, Obama to me was he could have been one of two things. Either people just hyped him up so much that there was no way that he could ever live up to that hype, or he knew going in what exactly he was going to be doing, and he ended up disappointing the voters, right? And I'm not just picking on Obama. Like I said, there's plenty of Bush before him. My God, what a nightmare that was. But Clinton before him, Clinton just put a fun face on it. Look at me, I'm on Arsenio Hall, I'm playing saxophone. Hey, everybody, woo! Meanwhile, he's doing the Telecommunications Act and allowing these companies to consolidate to where we don't really have a free press in this country anymore. I mean, Julian Assange is a perfect example of that. So, I mean, and now we fast forward to Biden, right? I mean, we could go over the things that Trump did wrong. We all know what Trump did wrong. He did a bunch of shit wrong. And then Biden comes along. And the thing about the Democrats and the Republicans, it's like
he did more shit right than Biden has.
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, he did give us
amazing.
some stimulus during that time.
It's amazing,
right? And as soon as Biden got in, they cut off the stimulus.
He
right?
did. He was on the Twitter. Nancy Pelosi didn't even want to give us a stimulus. Remember, she wanted the child tax credit. She was going to literally let us starve for the child tax credit. That
but
was
she
the child
feeds
tax
us.
Credit.
She feeds us, Tommy.
It's
Come on,
so
what are you
amazing
talking about?
how
She
horrible
said
it is.
she feeds us, Tommy. She never lied to us about stocks or her husband getting hit in the head with a hammer. What? No, sorry. Anyway, no, I would definitely lie about getting.
That's funny. Did you hear what that guy said, right? About to her. He's going to hit her in the head with a hammer until she tells the truth. I doubt that she would tell the truth even after she was hit in the head with a hammer.
No.
He had the guy. It was a waste of time, bro. She's
You don't make $100 million while you're in office if you're an honest person. You just don't do that. I'm sorry.
So this makes it a wash, and this makes the Republicans look anti-war, and this makes them look even more enticing to left-wing principles. We got Donald Trump today or yesterday talking about how the Republicans should not cut Social Security. It's amazing. I've never seen this shit before. It's a total turn. It's a turn on the tables.
Well, you got Matt Gaetz too, who was defending Ilhan Omar for losing a seat on one of these committees, and I'm like, up is down, left is right. You know, it's like from that movie Stripes, dogs and cats. No, that's from Ghostbusters. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. But it is mass hysteria, right? I mean, it's kind of a controlled mass hysteria, but I mean, for how long? You know, we are just, the United States is, I think, you know, people like in France and these other places where they have like these massive protests, like putting 1 million people in the streets, and they look at us and like, what the fuck is wrong with that country? Right? Why aren't they see that we don't have socialized medicine. You know, we don't, they see that the country doesn't take care of their people. Right? And they're probably looking at us like we're all just like Stepford wives or something, just, you know, and to a certain degree we are, right?
Well, to be fair to the American people, no other country has the amount of debt that the middle class American citizenry has. We have the most amount of debt. We work to paying off our debt, not making wealth. So we're so busy working all of these low wage jobs to provide for our families. We're living paycheck to paycheck. 80% of the American people are, and we don't seem to realize what exactly they're doing when they do these Inflation Reduction Acts or the CARES Act, which they gave you stimulus, but they made income inequality. That sees the Gilded Age occur, and they bailed out all the corporations, and they created this inflation, which they're now blaming on us and our stimulus. It's literally it's a scam, and that's the only thing I have to say about the right wing at this point is that they're feeding into the scam because they love the institutions, they love the Fed, but the Fed wants more people out of work. The Fed wants us out of houses. The Fed wants us to minimize how much we spend because we're rocking their bull market that could crash at any moment, and then they'd have to bail us out again. And Barack Obama, like you said, was the first pillar that disintegrated this free market in the first place when he bailed out the banks in 2008 and created this unstable market in the first place. So this all leads back to him, I believe. And having Biden as president, it's come full circle because he was the credit card industry, prison industrial complex, crime writing guy who you mentioned Bill Clinton while he was playing the saxophone at Arsenio Hall. He was incarcerating 15% of my race at that time as well. Yeah. This identity politics, I mean, you can't hide it anymore. These Democrats are so far to the right. It's astoundingly sick. And they should really stop calling themselves left. I really do believe because they're not. They don't resemble it at all.
Well,
I'm rambling now, but like it's just makes me so
you're
angry.
Fine. No, I get that way too, man. I get so pissed off, and I'm just like, you know, I'm shouting into the ether over here by myself. You know, and I I kind of thank goodness that nobody is around to hear it, because I'm pretty sure they'd probably tell me to shut the fuck up, and I'd be like, no, I'm not shutting the fuck up. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not taking it anymore. But I mean,
Try to pay attention. They really should.
exactly. When I was in college 1,000 years ago, during the Clinton administration, I didn't give a shit. I wasn't politically driven or anything like that. I was worried about making money. I was worried about ironically, I worked for news stations at the time, and I didn't pay attention to politics. I pay attention to more local stuff, right? Like local issues like corruption, a lot of weather events, because I was a TV producer in North Mississippi for a number of years, and we focused a lot on the local, so I didn't really pay attention to the national, you know. And then once I got out to California in 2003, I started paying a little more attention, because I started paying more attention because you're a Southerner like I am. You're in Texas. I'm from Mississippi, and
Even more south.
there's
You're the
probably a
real
lot
South.
more. Well, yeah, but there's probably a little more diversity in Texas than there is Mississippi. But because there wasn't really that much. You had black people, white people, and the occasional Vietnamese person. And that was it. And I go out to California and I meet all these people from around the world, and I started getting a world view through them. And I started thinking about my own place, my own home, my country, and what we were doing. And I would hear these stories like, yeah, in my country, we do this, we do this. I'm like, great, I wish we could do that here. And so I started getting in it more and more. And it's really kind of heartbreaking. The more you know, it's like the sadder it is, because you start learning exactly how the world is working, and particularly how our country works, and how we're basically the bad guys in the world. We go into to spread democracy, and then we fuck up people's countries, and then we eventually leave, after 20 years, and leave just a smoldering heap. It's no wonder people can't stand the United States from around the world. But
As a news personality, when you were working in the news, did you kind of like start to understand that cycle that we constantly do? The constant cycle of nation building that we're not really nation building, we're burning it to ashes so we can construct our industrial complex, can reconstruct it and pay and make money off of that, and it's just a business. We've done this countless times. It's literally like a playbook. It's almost so insane. Like during this Ukraine war, I knew exactly what was going to happen, because we already did this with Libya and we already did this with Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the same thing. In fact, I think the whole reason Biden hasn't gone full, we're going to put boots on the ground in Russia, is just because that would just be so Iraq. Like that would just be clearly just Iraq all over again. But this time with nuclear power, superpower. So
yeah, and that's what scares me too. I mean, growing up in the 80s when I was a kid under Reagan, you always heard about the threats, and there was a threat. I mean, I can't remember the guy's name, but if it wasn't for a Russian guy who was at a nuclear facility, we may all be the world may have just been changed forever, because they detected. It was a false detection that they said the United States had launched nuclear weapons. The missiles were heading toward. It was kind of like what is that? War Games. That movie War Games. It was like that, but it was like they weren't happening, but they were detecting these missiles, and they were about to send missiles back. And if this one guy they needed two people to turn the keys. And this one guy said, no, I think there's something wrong. I think this can't be right. I'm not about to do this if we're not 100% sure. And sure enough, they found out that there was no missiles. And, we just don't know how close we came to nuclear annihilation back then, right? Forget the Cuban Missile Crisis. In the 80s, that almost happened. And now, and you think about how that almost happened back then, and now here we are, 40 years later in the information age where we have the internet now. We didn't have the internet back then. You could, if you wanted to talk to somebody around the world, you had to, mail them a letter or have a ham radio or something like that. And now you just get on the internet. Like, there's probably people watching this show right now who are from another country, and it's great. But there's a blessing and a curse too, because you get all these people who are spreading information, but there are a lot of people spreading misinformation. I'm not talking about the ones who are accused of spreading misinformation just to shut them down from telling the truth. I'm talking about actual agents in the mainstream media who are telling us shit that is just total bald-faced lies, and you still have these cults. Russiagate, the Trump collusion, all that stuff, even Hunter Biden's laptop, none of that. And now, segueing into this, we got the train derailment in Ohio, where they said, okay, well, this thing's gonna explode, so we better do it first and blow it up in a controlled explosion. And now you have all these chemicals in the air in northeastern Ohio. That's hitting the jet stream. Hello, we live on planet Earth, and it's hitting the jet stream. It's going to hit in these other states, right? Where's the leadership?
Can't they just get Barack Obama to go drink some water and tell him it's okay to drink?
Right.
And stuff like that. I mean, it worked last time.
I just got back from Ohio, and everything's fine. Don't worry about those dead fish, all the dead animals and the skin irritations. Everything's fine. Drink the water.
First black president.
Yeah, do you think?
I mean,
what do you? I mean,
Biden's doing the same thing, by the way. He's doing the same thing. Telling him, like I showed you that link. He's telling him it's okay. He doesn't know anything. This president does not know a goddamn thing.
He's not in control. He's not.
He tried to mandate us vaccines that were 64% efficacious. Like, this guy is just like, stop with your health advice. You tell me to go back home. That's all they tell us to do is go home. Go back home. Go about your business. They don't give a shit, and they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Joe Biden is a Jeff Dunham puppet. All right, he's that old man puppet with the thing. He is, and he's literally being controlled. And Jeff Dunham is the military-industrial complex. It's the drug industry. It's the energy industry. They all control him. He's not in control of shit, right? And so, and people are, not everybody's stupid. More and more people are starting to realize that these people are not leading us at all. That they are basically.
He lived through every American president, and he sees what happens with the men and the black coats come in and talk to them, and then none of their policies ever come to fruition, because this is how it is. There's a permanent Washington. One of my favorite politicians, Tulsi Gabbard, talked about it. By the way, you're talking about that 80s scare of the Cold War, the nuclear weapons. Well, she had a nuclear scare in Hawaii, and she was already kind of radicalized because of the Iraq War. That's why she became a military person. But then she realized that we're literally walking around with nuclear weapons. That was a false alarm, thank God. But if we had a nuclear bombing, where would we hide? How would we survive? We don't have the infrastructure to survive, and our leaders are more concerned with taking our money, our taxpayer dollars, and sending it in tanks and missiles to Ukraine, who's propping up Azov battalion Nazis and stuff. They're more concerned about that than our infrastructure. They're more concerned about that than our health, our welfare. They've literally, Warren, that's literally their oaths: to serve and protect, to defend us from threats, foreign and domestic. If that's not treason, I don't know what is. And I don't understand why people don't understand that by neglecting our will and neglecting our safety, they're committing treason. This is not political partisan hackery. I'm not saying that as Marjorie Taylor Greene, who hates Biden. I'm saying
you're a right winger, Tommy. You're a fucking right winger, dude. Come on with that shit.
They have. The Constitution says it plainly of what happens when you neglect your oaths. It's treason, and it also says plainly about the penalty, but nobody wants to talk about that. But anyway,
people don't care about that shit no more, man. It's all about cults and which camp you're in, right? You know, if you're
right?
if you go
Even though
against
both camps sucks ass.
oh yeah. Well, if you go against you push back on anything the Democrats do, you're labeled a conservative. You know, you push back on anything the Republicans do, then you're a communist. You know, it's just like, dude, what is it? Am I a Republican or am I a communist? What the hell's going on?
So did you hear about Trump calling DeSantis a groomer, by the way?
Yeah,
This is how funny
I saw
it's
that.
gotten. What do you think about that? Now they're all crazy. They don't know what to do.
They are so afraid of Trump winning again, and well, you know what? I think I have a theory about that. I don't think they really care if Trump is president or not. In fact, I think they want him to be president because they can level all this vile this just hatred towards him, and meanwhile that distracts from them not doing their jobs for the people. Right, we saw it when he was president. The Democrats didn't do shit. All they were doing was they were doing this Russiagate thing this whole time, and
the media, they had ratings back then. Back then they had watchers.
On the media loved him. Well, yeah, I mean,
he's injecting himself.
2016, they're showing empty podiums on MSNBC. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders, you know, who I don't really have much love for anymore either.
I'm angry though, Warren, about what they did, how they did it, and how Bernie literally allowed it to happen.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off the most is the fact that he didn't fight back. He just went along with it. He said, I don't want to be the next Ralph Nader. So, it's like, well, then you're a fucking cuck. Then you're not leading people. Where's your fucking revolution? You don't.
Even the conservatives were like, is he gonna? He's like 200 delegates down. He literally dropped out with a chance to win. He was literally calling Joe Biden his friend. It was so embarrassing, bro.
My friend Joe. It was.
He destroyed it. He destroyed our movement, and that's crazy, man.
Well, and now it's gotten to the point. Well, I mean, it's gotten to the point now where, like, loyal fans of or loyal supporters, I should say, of Bernie Sanders, and I'm one of these people too, is saying like, now I feel like we've been conned. You know, that he knew that the revolution wasn't going to happen. He was shepherding these people into the Democratic Party. I mean, I fully believe that now. You would have told me that in 2016, I would have been like, no,
Well, when he was saying Hillary understands, I knew something was up, sus. We said Hillary doesn't understand a shit.
No, she doesn't.
That's what I was saying during 2016. So, but I let that go. I let that go. I was like, okay, he's being a good guy. He's being a nice guy. He's honorable, not like her, who smeared Barack Obama as a birther in the first place, and told people that the Bernie Bros were the white Bernie Bros were literally taking people. What was it? Taking people's wallets. They need to behave, Bloomberg said. Remember which one? They did a whole ad out on us, guys. Remember that? Remember when they did a whole ad on us? Not even political candidates for president. They literally did an ad on Bernie supporters. I just want to let you guys know. And then Bernie turns around and supports Joe Biden after they took out an attack ad on us. And then he expects us to literally vote for Joe Biden. How do we do that after that? They literally took Warren, have you ever seen a political party take an ad out on supporters of a presidential candidate before? That's amazing, right? So how cucks are we if we let that happen, guys?
We live in we live in strange times, my friend. It's I mean, I mean, you could tell I ain't no spring chicken, so but I have never seen anything. I haven't seen anything like this before in my lifetime. Maybe I wasn't paying attention or something, but I sure as fuck don't remember anything like this.
It's a sign of the times.
More and more people, though, are starting to realize that it is a duopoly, and both of these parties are playing on the same team, right? Because you notice,
like they are now.
Often than not, the more often than not, they vote for the same things, right? They don't.
Kevin
You know,
McCarthy today. Kevin McCarthy said something about Biden's capital manager. Boom. Biden fires his capital manager. Yes, Mr.
mm-hmm.
McCarthy. They work together in
Yeah.
lockstep. She
And
was so transparent throughout the entire State of the Union, too. Besides Marjorie Taylor Greene's cartoonish Cruella DeVille outfit and behavior. like, that's just to say, like, I'm a Republican. I don't care about killing animals and wearing them to the Capitol. I get it, Marjorie. You're a Neanderthal, but like in reality, they all voted for the Jobs Act. They all voted for the Inflation Reduction Act. They all voted for the CARES Act. They all voted for the COVID relief bill. They all voted. The records all show the results. And guys, I don't give a shit how many Marjorie Taylor Greens there are posting Post-its on AOC's door. AOC complaining and whining about violence when people are trying to talk to her about bringing up ruckus. Marjorie Taylor Greene talk about Jewish space leaders. This is all theater. In reality, the votes tell you exactly what they want. And the votes say this agenda, it hasn't stopped. In fact, they literally took out our fucking Build Back Better Act. They separated it. And then they got 13 Republicans to vote for the corporate part of it. And then where is the other part? So literally, like, if that's not a organized operation to undermine progressives, I don't know what is. But they've done it so many times, like it's tiring to even talk about how many times they've undermined us. Like literally, like I don't even understand why we even have any.
It's tiring to try to educate people on what's really going on too, right? I mean, I'm tired of these cheerleaders. I'm tired of these people who have no fucking clue. They either have no. It's like I said about George Bush. He's either stupid or he's evil, right? And that's what I think about these people that support these fucking political parties too. They're either stupid, just ignorant, just don't know, and just go along with it because they always have, because it's tradition. I've been a Democrat my whole life. My father was, that kind of shit. Or they're just like, yeah, we know exactly what these people are doing, but we support them anyway because, fuck the poors and fuck the working people. I got mine, You just got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, blah, 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 and all that bullshit, right? I'm going to shove a bootstrap up somebody's ass when they say
that's Lindsey Graham right there. Lindsey Graham, stupid or evil? What do you think?
I think both. I think both. Yeah.
I think he's not that. Needs to get it.
He's smart enough to manipulate people into voting for him. Okay, but he's fucking evil, right? So Turtle down in Kentucky. What's his name? McConnell. Oh well, everybody, I think we should get Social Security.
Is he really saying that though, Warren? Because Trump, the alpha, said not to. So
right.
So is he really alpha? What are these Republicans going to do in this primary? Do you think they're going to all bend the knee to Donald, or do you think there's going to be some bloodletting from the other side? Do you think they're going to go after Donald? What do you think the Republicans are going to do?
It depends. It really depends on, because they got to get closer to the time. We got to get the polls. We got to see how the numbers are. Right now, it's too early.
Trump's already started.
I mean, Trump's already started.
Sanctimonious groomer, whatever. You are not ratings. And then DeSantis responds with, "I defend my record." He's gonna lose. So he's gonna lose
it's all a dog and pony show. I mean, when you actually start paying attention and you start seeing trends, when you see people say one thing, or you hear people say one thing, and then I always tell people, look, don't listen to these, don't read these tweets, don't listen to what these people say, watch their actions. What are they doing and what are they not doing? Right? Because actions is the key.
South Carolina.
That's the bottom line. And going back to this train derailment in Ohio, right? We were talking about this earlier, that where's the leadership? Pete Buttigieg, transportation secretary, there was regulations that Obama put in about it was like safety regulations that Biden, well, Trump, I think Trump took him away, and then Biden never put him back in, and of course Pete Buttigieg didn't put him back in there, but there's still people licking his ass because they want him to be the next president because he's more coherent than Bush is, and that's it, you know? And I'm like, we need more than that. We need like more experience, but we know it's a dog and pony
the worst
show.
transportation secretary ever. He's literally had everything go. Have you ever heard the name or remember the name of any transportation secretary in any administration? Do you know the name of any other transportation secretary? That's what
I used to actually know.
Yeah.
But not, you know, but
Really?
it's very rare.
I didn't.
That's the thing. They're background players.
He's
They're supposed to make sure the
literally
trains
not
run on time.
at work.
Literally. Right.
This guy is
And-
not at work.
No,
He's like AOC. He's a TikTok influencer.
if he's trying to get attention for himself so he can run for president, he is getting the wrong damn attention for this.
To be fair, though, that's the only reason why anybody joined the Biden administration. I mean, really, they all had to have deals. That's the only reason why he became the nominee is because Barack Obama called all of these people and said, "Look, Bernie's about to win. You've got to coalesce around my racist Dixiecrat, crime bill writing, psychopathic, dementia-riddled old man, vice president, and who likes bomber jackets. And you got to go ahead and we'll get you whatever you like." And Buttigieg was like, I don't really like to do much. Like, I went to Afghanistan, so can I just like hang out at the transportation office? And he didn't realize there was going to be like a supply chain crisis. What the fuck? I wasn't promised this, as if Jesus. And Kamala, she's gonna have to go to the border. I only go to Taco Bell. I don't go to the border. Their jokes are horrible. These are all people who literally take they give the right wing ammunition against us.
Well, yeah. I mean, the right wing just sits back and laughs at the circus, right? I mean, they're part of the circus too, but they're doing their part in the circus, right? So, but the whole thing was initially the whole plan was to coalesce around Kamala Harris, right? She was going to be, she was the golden child that she was going to be, because nobody was having Hillary anymore, but we still need a woman, you know. But then, well, hang on. So even before all that, you know, before like the weird speeches and shit like that, she couldn't even win a delegate in her own state, right?
No, because
that's when they knew.
Locked everybody up.
That's when DNC knew, we're in trouble. Who we got? Who's plan B? Buttigieg? I don't know. So they went with Old Faithful, with Biden, who'd ran for president like 18 times or some bullshit. Yeah, exactly. He's controllable.
Perfect.
He's a party man. He's going to do what they tell him to do, and that's what's happening. Let's for a second.
It was the perfect option for them, really. Yeah.
It really was. Before it gets too late here, because time always just flies by on these shows, dude. It's already 8:45.
Having fun.
We've just been yakking like a couple of birds.
It was good to talk to you. So
I love it. No, I love this kind of shit, man. That's why I love this show. I love getting people on here and just having good conversations like this. But let me show everybody this. We were talking about Ohio and what's going on there and the chemical mushroom cloud that went up in the air, and now it threatens other states and whatnot. This is part of a trend. This is not like a out of nowhere situation. So let me start off with this one here. So there's been other train derailments like within the last month. And I'm just scratching the surface here. So let me see if this comes up. So this one, we'll start with this one. This was from last month. So Transportation Safety Board investigating train derailment near Chaplin, and I believe that is in where is Chaplin? West of Regina in Oregon, I believe. Yes. So there was this one. Said 47 cars holding 95 containers left the tracks. And I don't think it says what, I think it was carrying chemicals as well. I can't be sure of that. We've got this one here. Now this was in Toledo, Oregon. Okay, I may have been wrong about this one. Let's see, where was this at? This was in Canada, I believe. Okay. So this one, the Oregon DEQ says cleanup efforts are still underway. A derailed train spills about 2,000 gallons of diesel near the Yakina River, right? So once again, another one. I feel like, what's his name? Another one. We got this one. This one was today in South Carolina, in Inori, South Carolina. Train derailment. Freight railroad company CSX Transportation on the scene. Not quite sure. So that's kind of a developing story there. And then there's this one in here around your neck of the woods. This is in Houston. This is a collision between a Union Pacific train and an 18-wheeler near Splendora, Texas. Left the truck driver dead and derailed 21 rail cars. So this is
kind of makes you wish. The railroad people got sick days. Maybe if they got sick days, they wouldn't be crashing railroad.
Right? I mean, think about it. Like, this was not long after they put the kibosh on letting the union strike. You know,
Yeah.
It was just it's so fucking
Probably
frustrating.
short, man. They're short staffed, probably. Yeah. I mean, it's a hard job, and the things they have to do. I mean, especially now that there's chemicals being released in the air.
Well, also too, they were talking about how, and I believe what the two of the guys were on the show Due Dissidence with Keaton and Russell. That's a great show, by the way.
Love them.
And they were talking about
great.
how they're making trains are normally like a mile long, maybe a little longer, something like that, maybe about a mile and a half at the longest. But now they've made these trains like 2 miles long. There's less trains going through there, so that means there's less people working these lines. It's the same amount of people, but now they're having to do more work, and they're not getting the time off. You remember the whole story that the complaints they had,
right?
Why
exactly,
they were wanting to strike. So I mean, I lay stuff like this at the feet of the transportation secretary, at the president, and the squad who also voted against these unions. So much for that ruckus, huh? Right? What do you think about AOC?
DSA members.
Yeah, what are your thoughts now? Go ahead.
I don't even think about AOC anymore. It's just I think about us and our reactions and I'm a restaurant manager, and I tried to have role models, and one of my managers always told me that I looked up to. They said, "What you will allow will happen," and what we've allowed to happen with the fact that these guys are purporting to. First of all, she didn't put Medicare for all on the House floor. She, as a Justice Democrat, that was her mandate. The fact that we still vote for her after she broke her promise to put Medicare for all on the House floor, then we gave her an option with forced to vote. She neglected to even do that. What was her excuse? It wasn't a good excuse. I mean, that was her mandate, right? And then, voting for the palace, the wall, the Iron Dome. I mean, after row after row after row of caving in, and the thing is, I'm not even disappointed. People call her fraud squad. People are complaining about her, but why is she still in New York 14th district? Because Nancy Pelosi was right. A glass of water that had a D could hold that district, and it reveals to me the sickness within of our allowing to be smacked around like a bitch. And by the way, one of the reasons why I was in a group of collaborators that challenge narratives, leftist groups, is because they refuse to hold accountable and do what is necessary to terminate associations with people that go against the principles. The DSA, these people are still members of the DSA, even though the DSA is pro-union. They union busted. They should be out, right? if you still have associations with people who break your rules and your regulations, then what you're saying is that you are. I mean, what kind of power? This is why the right wing doesn't respect us, guys. This is why the right wing doesn't respect us, and they know that's why Ilhan Omar she doesn't have a seat anymore in the Foreign Affairs Committee. They don't respect us. What are we going to do about it? Nothing. They know. The right wing knows that. And I need every left wing person to see this. I know we look at right wingers as cartoon characters who have simplistic views and a hierarchy mentality, but they are literally half the country. And their perception of us is we're weak, spineless cowards that only care about identity politics and inclusivity. So the inclusivity includes us all to be poor, have no health care, to be incarcerated, as long as we're all diverse and inclusive. Do you know what that means, guys? It's that respect. So we've got to look inside ourselves, and we've got to pull the trigger, guys. The DSA, the leadership of the DSA needs to go. I want to say that, Cardon. The fact that they didn't kick out the squad, they're still DSA members. Y'all need to talk to the DSA leadership.
Dude,
what about that?
They're clout chasers, man. That's all DSA is. They're not serious people. You know, they want to make sure that their people are in office because that gives them some sort of credibility themselves. You know, they're like, oh, they're our people. You know, so they got to ride with them. Good or
you're
bad.
Paying membership dues, like $5 a month. You're paying that money to them. They owe you something. So we need to make the pay.
I wonder how many people have left the DSA since all these shenanigans with the squad has been going on, right? I'd be curious to see those numbers. I bet you there's a good many of those people that just said, no, this is not what I signed up for.
We should take a hold of those organizations, just like the right wing does, infiltrate those organizations and kick the higher ups' asses out. How can we do that? Can we do that somehow? I got
a magic wand around here somewhere.
They took over the Republicans. The MAGA wing. They took over the Republican Party. Why can't we take over just some of these schmuck DSA elites?
We can't even agree on anti-war rallies, dude. You know, that's the thing. We're all over the place. And like every time people try to coalesce and do something, there's always just this little group that comes out of nowhere. It's like, man, I don't like that person. That person's like a Nazi, and that person's a pedo, and that. It's like here's my thing. If my house is on fire, I don't give a fuck if you if you're you got arrested for the most heinous crime. If you know how to pick up a bucket of water and throw it on the fire, I welcome you. That doesn't mean I have to embrace what you are, but if we're trying to work together to stop something that is just detrimental to the world, like, nuclear war, we can't be just picky and choosy about the people that we come together to do this. We focus on the goal, and then you want to bicker about this stuff later, that's fine. But we got to focus on this shit.
The MAGA wing of the Republican Party took over the Republican Party and literally pushed out Jeb Bush. They exterminated those guys. And we, on the other hand, didn't take over the Democratic Party. We coalesced. They coalesced and they cheated us. And then we in turn voted for Joe Biden. So do you see how the right wing has no respect for us at all? And so they'll kick us out of all committee chairs. They don't give a shit about us, and they know that we'll never ever retaliate because we're concerned with all the things that you just talked about, Warren. So we have to fucking come to grips with that reality, guys, and make a change. On this extra Bulla show, I'm pleading with every leftist. We've got to recognize that reality. And we've got to know that the right wing is never going to accept anything. We've got to have the respect. Right and the left, we're supposed to fly together. We don't have the respect because they know that we'll cave and we'll fall in line. They know it.
Just also remember though that the right wing has an agenda too. I mean, when you're sitting there going on TV and calling Joe Biden a Marxist, really?
Oh yeah,
Come on,
they're
but
super afraid of any kind of Marxist principles, bro. They don't want
they
any of
want
their money going to the
exactly.
bottom.
They want to poison. They want to poison. Socialism, and make it sound like it's the 80s Soviet Union, right? People in bread lines, people getting sent to the gulags and stuff like that. I'm not saying that shit didn't happen, but I'm just saying that
People in bread lines right now. And
I mean, something that happened 40 years ago, we can make socialism work in this country to where, because my deal is, this is what I would like to see in this country as far as socialism is concerned. You want capitalism, all right, that's fine. You can have your capitalism. It's not going to go away anytime soon. Eventually it will. But the thing that's going to make it go away sooner is if you implement policies. No homeless person should be living on the street. Set them up with a cot, a kitchen to feed themselves. Just, you don't have to have like the most lavish place for people, but make sure that everybody has some place to stay. Then if you want to like live in a big house or something like that, then you get on your feet and you're working and you make the money or whatever. Okay, fine, you make the houses or whatever, but we got to make sure that people are taken care of first before we embrace this capitalism that will that's currently drowning everybody. Make sure everybody has health care, right? Make sure we have fair elections.
Bernie Sanders has been saying for 40 years, but they don't give a shit about anything we say because we're gonna vote for Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. So fuck us.
Exactly, right? Because
Irrelevant.
I've always been a Democrat. That's like Republicans say that shit. They sound just like Republicans when they say that shit. I've always been a Republican. I can't go, I can't do stuff outside of my bubble.
Are you gonna vote for Marianne Williamson?
What will my neighbors think?
Are you gonna give it? Are you gonna catch on to the spiritual politics? Because I mean, literally, if we don't have living wages or legalized marijuana, we might as well just get spiritual. Because we have nothing.
Look, man, I'm not voting Orbs and Crystals 2024. Okay, that's not me.
Why can't you manifest her a vote? Manifest her a vote, please. She's Oprah's spirit guide, and Crystal Ball says to do it or grow up.
All I know is that I want to stay relevant, and I want to sell books, and I do love crystals and orbs. And I don't need your mansplaining, Tommy. I don't need your mansplaining, okay?
Our kaleidoscope of truth, bro, was the thing that did it for me. I was like, nobody has a monopoly on the truth. How about the people that tell the truth? Because nobody has a monopoly on the truth in Washington, D.C. because they're all lying. So what the fuck are you talking about, Marianne? And by the way, Marianne, when you run, you have half the talent of Bernie Sanders. You'll get 3% of the vote, and you'll end up voting
if she's
for
lucky.
Joe Biden. Anywhere.
Yeah.
So
she's probably praying for 3% at this point. Right now, she's got, But yeah, she's just trying to stay relevant. She's just trying to stay relevant. We got too many clowns. It's a circus, and we got way too many clowns. You know what I mean? It's just
Kermit the Frog. Does Kermit the Frog want to run for a Democratic nomination?
Shit, I'd vote for him at this point. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
yeah, he's nice.
At least for sure, 100% he's a puppet.
Hey ho! I got a hand up my ass, but I'll give you free health care.
I'm like, all right, fuck yeah, I'll vote for that fucking frog, man.
Except I won't ever do that. But eventually, 10 years from now, Medicare will expand to cover people that are 67. That's cool. I said, yeah, but I'll expand Obamacare. I won't ever do that. I'll just talk about Obama because he's the first black president. Yeah, so they're just gonna keep on going, one on top of each other. Well, resolute this. Yeah. What are the Republicans running on? Repealing their bullshit that they voted for in the first place? I mean, it's just dumb, bro.
We're gonna cut the deficit. Like they even know about the fucking deficit. They do
know about the deficit. Trump took it 70 years. He tripled it, so they know about it. He tripled that shit.
Yeah, but they want to cut they want to cut spending, but they sure as fuck ain't gonna touch that military budget, are they? Nah, that's the golden calf.
Put spending on the border, right? The border.
Yeah.
The border. What about the border? About to protect the border.
Nobody in Washington wants to cut the military budget. Some people say they do, but they don't. They're just like, come on.
Other people
You got
that
people
did what are out of
starving
office
here.
now.
We got price. You got $12 eggs. People are just like going crazy. You know, a lot of people going.
What about our
broke and homeless,
security?
you know, and then
How
they're
about we
trying to
stop
cut
the-
Social Security.
The fucking South American countries. That'll stop the fucking crisis right there. If we just stop fucking with other people's governments and made them non-functional and install puppet leaders like Juan Guaido, do y'all know what that? Yeah, y'all. It's hilarious. They make a false president, Guaido, and then when people come over there from Venezuela, they're like, "Oh my God, why are they coming over?" Because your government doesn't even know what president's in power. We did that. So what do you expect from these people? Like, they want what we have. What do you have? A fucking trailer park and a fucking Uno card? What do we
I
have?
want a
We have-
trailer park.
We have debt. We literally have debt. That's all we have.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
wing. Just so y'all know.
We're trying to
Y'all have
start a
credit
war
card
with
debt,
our
student loan debt.
banker. We're trying to start a war too with our banker
Y'all
China.
have recurring payments from Netflix and Hulu. That's all you have.
Yeah.
They're not coming over
I
the
always
border
want to
for
tell people like,
So, yeah.
these people coming to this country, it's like, dude, they are victims of our
wanna
foreign
know.
policy. We're going in there and cooing their leaders. We're going in there and disrupting their lives, you know, turning warlords into presidents, and these people are fleeing for their lives because of us. Maybe stop fucking with their countries, and then maybe these folks, not as many folks will come to America. I don't know. I'm no mathematician, but all I know is if you don't stir up the ants' nest, chances are they'll leave you the fuck alone. You know what I mean?
No, we should just be like
They're not going
Kamala
to come
and
to
just
your
go
house.
Guatemala and be like, do not come. Do not come. Russia is a
Right?
big country. Ukraine is a small country.
Stop fucking
Do
with their
not come.
countries. God damn. It's not rocket science.
This is the thing that Democrats could literally push because, you know, everybody's talking about Biden's border crisis, right? They could turn around and be like, well, how about we stop, you know, doing these? But they can't because they're part of the establishment that's locked up. They could literally take any issues and defeat the Republicans on. But it's just a shame, Warren, because they can't do it because they're literally they could impeach Trump for any of the things that they wanted to, because it turns out that Biden and Hillary Clinton did the same exact things. It wasn't until they caught him on the phone with Zelensky talking about we're not going to give you any more aid, try to do pro quo, that they finally caught Trump, because unlike any other politician in Washington, D.C. that would fund a completely corrupt nation that's literally made in corruption, like sons of John Kerry, Joe Biden on energy boards galore in Ukraine. It's all corruption. It's all money laundering. Not until Trump didn't have Ivanka or Donald Trump Jr. in Ukraine, didn't know why the fuck we were funding him in the first place, caught him on the phone saying, I don't know why we're paying you all this money. Did they finally impeach him? And so that was the one part. That was the one thing that Donald Trump was not corrupt on. He should have had Ivanka in the energy board business in Ukraine. But he didn't give a shit, and they caught him on the phone. And Donald Trump's a moron because he was on the phone again with Raffensperger. And so that's why it's not going to work out also with Donald Trump, because he's going to literally be on the phone again, either fucking mailing a check to Stormy Daniels. By the way, who writes a prostitute a check? Have you ever do you know anybody who writes a prostitute a check? This guy is so dumb. But yeah, he's sometimes he's funny, and it's just all the same thing though. Other than that, like what do we want? Life, liberty, happiness, equality under the law. None of the stuff we're getting from these two parties because they don't serve us. I don't work for you, buddy. That's what Joe Biden said. He doesn't work for us. How many times are we going to hear that shit before we realize that we should stop voting for these two parties? We should take our organizations and our local communities, and we should try to make change with them. And the people like the DSA, they're vulnerable. The organizations like them, I don't know other people, organizations like them. The people we're involved with, we pay dues to. It's time to collect. There's a reason we pay dues. If you're at a homeowners association, you pay dues. Why don't you make little Jasper? His dog is barking in the middle of the night. Why don't we put that on the rules committee? We need to start being more involved in the people in the organizations we pay dues to, and not leave them to to rule it. We got to be more involved and stop being cucks and voting for neoliberals. So start
Well
there
said.
and
Well
see
said.
what happens.
That's what we got to do, man. I think we got to focus local and try and get as many
Exactly.
people involved in their neighborhoods and involved in their towns and cities, even statewide too. You know, there's things that can be done there. But we get it on the national level.
I think that
it's just,
our rally was very good.
Yeah.
It happened with Jimmy Dore, who hosted it, right? Did you see anything about that? A lot of people seem to be going there. Did it make an impact at all?
I don't think it's happened yet. I think it's happening soon.
It
You
has
talking
happened?
about the
I thought it was
Rage
tonight.
Against the Rage Against the War Machine? Yeah, that's
the Rage
I
Against
think
the War.
that's- I'm
Yes.
not quite sure when that is, but it's coming up soon. So, but yeah, and there's already people tearing that
I thought it
apart
already
because of
happened.
who's involved, you know. And it's like, okay, some people, it's like, okay, I understand your gripes about some of these people. And I was talking to Keaton about this on Due Distance last week. I said, you know, I understand people have some sensitivities, you know, regarding certain people and whatnot, but we got to keep our eye on the prize here. And the prize is no nuclear war, right? No war, period. I mean, was this country been around for like almost 250 years, and like only 20 years out of that whole time we haven't been at war with somebody? I mean, come on, you know, this is a warmongering
We made a constitution
country.
to make it keep it that way. It sucks because
Exactly.
the Constitution was literally formed so we wouldn't have another war. Like that was the whole reason we were all created equal and endowed with our creative rights, manifesting our own destinies, having rugged individualism. With all of those things, we didn't need any war because we were so busy achieving our own happiness. But now we are all part of a collective in a bandwagon mentality that's rooting for sides and needing funding from campaign finance contributions. It's all un-American to me. Honestly.
So Miguel in the chat says, Rage Against the War Machine event is going to be this Sunday, February 19th. So,
thank you, Miguel. I thought it was February 9th, so I'm glad it's not over yet.
Well, a 9 was involved. You just got to stick a 1 in there, and then y'all good.
Yeah, I got to stick a 1 in there. I'm not a math surgeon.
I'm not a rocket dentist either. So,
thanks, Miguel.
Try to. Hey, Miguel is the brains of this outfit. So I'm just the guy that pushes the buttons. So, but
if I wasn't working, I would definitely go. I hope everybody does. I hope people make an impact and show these two parties that we're not afraid to get in their faces, because they're being more and more emboldened every day to undermine our rights and liberties and our labor, extract that. They're more emboldened to take our taxpayer dollars and spend it all on nefarious money laundering schemes in corrupt countries.
And I'll let this go because my internet's about to crap out here. I can see it. It's like, yeah. Go protest the war. Don't go for people. Don't go because personalities are going to be at this thing. Just don't even bother finding out who's going to be at this thing. Just go. Rage against the war machine. That's what it's all about. Rage against the war. Don't rage against one another, because we're not going to be able to come together if we're just at each other's throats all the time. And that's the way they want us. They want us divided so that we don't come together. Right? 60-something% of people in this country want, free health care. They want socialist policies. But they're controlled by these parties that have told them that the other side is evil and we should never unite with anybody, and that keep us divided. It's all just, we have to overcome that, and that's all we can do. So, but
we shall overcome.
We shall overcome. Exactly, sir. You and me out there with our big mouths, I think we could help some folks out there. So, we just got to keep preaching, brother. We just got to be like that Baptist preacher at the 10th revival, just
it worked in a have you ever read that book, Horton Hears the Who? It works then. Everybody's screaming, we're here. It works then. So Dr. Seuss, giving me some hope.
All right, my friend. Well, it's appropriately or inappropriately, it's 9/11 here on the East Coast. I'll just leave it there. Never forget. I know, right? I got the clock right there. I can't forget. So But I want to thank you for coming on, and I want you to tell everybody, where they can find you. I've got all your links and stuff down below, but what's the best place they can reach you, and what you got coming up, and all that good stuff.
Well, I have a Tuesday. I always every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I have a Tommy Nation Politics Tuesday live stream that goes off of Facebook.com/Tommy Nation Politics. Also on Twitch, YouTube, Trovo as well. And you can check me out. If you want to send me messages, Facebook.com/Tommy Nation Politics or www.TommyNationPolitics.com. I have a podcast on Anchor as well. And if you're someone who doesn't bend to the will of conventional wisdom, someone who rebels, who questions authority, who doesn't just go along with the mainstream media and bend to the conventional wisdom, then there's you're not alone, guys. And we can stand together, stand tall, and unite out of many one, e pluribus unum. And I'm always looking for people like that. So yeah, find me there, and extending my invitation to you, Uncle Warren. I'm going to be talking about groomers of democracy on Tuesday, and we're going to be talking about how these parties march in lockstep as police brutally beat citizens, and the rise of surveillance and curtailing of our civil liberties continue to persist as they tout democracy. What did Biden say? Unbruised, but still together. What democracy are you talking about, Joe? When people are being brutalized by cops. He's fucking sick.
He's talking about the democracy of his poop in his pants. That's what he's talking about. Yeah. So,
embarrassing.
But Tommy,
yeah.
I do appreciate you. Thank you for the invitation. Like I said, I will let you know about that. If I can do that, I would definitely be on there. And I appreciate you coming on. I thought we were going to have a good conversation. I didn't think it would get as spirited as it did. But you were spitting fire, and I was just mad as hell too. And I think that just proves we're human beings who care about our planet and about one another. And we're not just complacent to sit back and twiddle our thumbs and trust the government and trust our leaders who failed us time and time again. And I just want to say I'm glad you're out there. You're fighting the good fight.
Same.
And it's
keep doing your show. It's hilarious and entertaining. I don't get a lot of the hilarious, entertaining stuff anymore. Not since the Dick Van Dyke show.
Sometimes it's funny.
You're like Dick Van Dyke, bro. It was amazing. Where's Rick Tellemore at?
I wish. All I could say, I will say this. I don't normally do funsies on this show anymore since I have the secret show at midnight. And that's where all the craziness happens.
Okay.
And I got the new show too, Mundus Ultra. I talk about UFOs and cryptids and stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. But one thing we got to avoid, my friend, is this.
What the fuck was that? He's riding a missile with a cowboy hat. Sounds like
Dr. Strangelove. Have you ever seen Dr. Strangelove?
No, but I'm definitely watching it after another drink for sure.
Oh, my friend, you are in for a treat.
I gotta see what happens in that movie. Now you got my attention.
It's very appropriate, and it plays well today too, because I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but it's about nuclear war and the boneheaded idiots who are in charge of it. I'll just say that and leave it at that, and let you. Stanley Kubrick, one of his best. Please, if you get a chance to watch it, do so. It's very good, and you may make you mad too. You're like, damn it, that's the shit that's going on today. So, but anyway, stick around for a second. I want to say goodbye to you properly, but I want to thank you for coming on, and I'm glad you came on. I hope to have you on again soon. And we'll talk more good stuff. So, all right, let me say goodbye to these wonderful people over here. Screw Google and Gamer and Yona and Miguel. I know Les Bones was here earlier. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I mean, Monday nights is not exactly the sexy night to watch these shows. I get that. I understand, but it's nice to have folks on like Tommy to talk about stuff like this. Willie Bragg Show. Good to see you, Willie. Make sure you check out Willie Bragg Show on the YouTubes there. And
Dirtbag
Yona, he is. He's that country dirtbag leftist too. He's one of my peoples. So I think that's everybody. But anybody else watching the replay, I hope you you take into account what we're saying here. You know, we're not talking out of our asses here. We're desperately trying to help people to understand what's going on. Thank you, Screw Google. This isn't a great show without the people who watch it and the people who support this show too. So thank you to everybody. I love all of y'all. Love you, Tommy. What's that? The ghost of Tommy still lingers. All right, let's get the hell out of here. Have a great night, everybody. Wash your ass, keep it clean. You never know. You don't want skid marks in the hospital because they will make fun of you. Trust me, I know. Peace.